A powerful new tool sends shockwaves near Eagle River. The Army's plans for these new weapons.
Concern for the future, why these picketers turned out this afternoon to let the Veterans Administration know new reforms could come at a cost.
It's disappointing that the individuals that did this have not been apprehended.
Vandals still on the loose and prompting some security changes at the airport where they slashed dozens of plane tires.
Plus big changes in the Walker administration as some key players hand in their resignations.
The Channel 2 News Hour starts now.
You're watching KTUU, Channel 2, Anchorage, Alaska's news source. And now, the Channel 2 News Hour from the state's #1 news team.
2 state cabinet members resign in just one day.
Good evening, everyone. Big changes for the Walker administration as the governor's office announces the attorney general and the acting commissioner of the Department of Natural Resources are out.
Channel 2's Nikki Carvajal has been following these developments today, and she joins us now. Nikki?
Well, Maria and Mike, Corey Mills, a spokeswoman with the Department of Law, says that the first resignation, Attorney General Craig Richards, was, quote, for personal reasons and personal reasons only. She says that Richards was not asked to resign by the governor. In a statement released around 11 this morning, the governor's office said that Richards is resigning effective tomorrow to refocus on his family. Richards was appointed to the position in 2014 and has been a part of some high-profile cases like the decision to free the men known as the Fairbanks Four. He's also one of the architects behind the governor's plan to use permanent fund dividend earnings to fund state government, a plan that passed the state Senate but died in the House.
Governor Bill Walker signed 2 bills into law yesterday that are designed to increase revenue for the state and help pay for the Department of Natural Resources. SB 101 allows DNR's Division of Parks and Outdoor Recreation to sell state park-themed merchandise. People will be able to buy them at parks and some Alaska-based retailers with the money.
Well, that is the concern, but today only about 7 people took part of the picket here in Alaska, and while the turnout was small, those issues concerning veteran affairs could have large impact. The state has the highest number of veterans living here per capita.
Pick a sign, any sign.
The sound of supportive honking horns is what Carrie Sherris heard during her lunch hour.
Proud daughter of a combat veteran, 28-year Army, who was a veteran of World War II, Korea, 2 tours in Vietnam, 3 Purple Hearts. So yes, being a veteran, getting cared for by veterans is personal to me.
Her coworkers and fellow veterans believe that VA hospitals, like the one where they work, are at risk for closure, saying lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are considering privatizing care.
I want, personally, to make people aware this is a real possibility.
A spokesperson for the local VA disagrees.
I haven't been told of the closing of this hospital. And again, our focus, what we concentrate on, is taking care of the veterans.
It looks like a bazooka, but fires like a rifle. And while it's been around for decades, it's new here to the 425 on J-Bear. And this is it, the Carl Gustav recoilless rifle. I'm with John Duell from Crane, Indiana. He's here teaching the 425 how to use the Carl Gustav. John, tell us about it.
Okay, well, this is a M3 recoilless 84 millimeter rocket-fired weapon system. We're here to teach the unit on how to deploy and shoot this weapon effectively to different multiple target systems or targets that range from armored vehicles, bunkers, or any type of structures. It shoots multiple different types of rounds that will either airburst or impact into your targets.
What does the Carl Gustav bring to the 425? How will it be used?
Okay, this can be used on a battlefield, of course, and it can be deployed from their fighting positions. It shoots out to 1,200 meters, depending on the type of round that it shoots.
And while the Army is testing out its new weapon, the Coast Guard is stopping the sale of assault-style guns in their exchange stores. That means semi-automatic guns with magazines with a capacity of at least 20 rounds. The chief operating officer for the Coast Guard exchanges says officials had been considering banning the firearms, but the tipping point was when a gunman killed 49 people at an Orlando gay nightclub on June 12th, according to the Kodiak Daily News Miner. In Alaska, the decision applies to exchange stores in Kodiak and Ketchikan.
A mistake on the Navy's Blue Angels Facebook page had fans of an Air Force show at J-Bear concerned about, or an air show at J-Bear had fans concerned about a possible cancellation of the Blue Angels. Officials say they were updating photographs and unintended automatic notifications were also sent out, causing the confusion. No official announcements have been made about a cancellation, and the Navy's flight demonstration team is still set for performances at the J-Bear Arctic Thunder Open House on July 30th and 31st. But the group is still waiting for an official Navy release of its future schedule, which should come out sometime this week. A Blue Angels pilot was killed in early June during a practice flight in Tennessee, and the team stood down for 2 weeks during the investigation.
Security at Merrill Field is undergoing some changes after dozens of airplanes were vandalized earlier this month. The changes come as the amount of reward money for finding those who committed the crime increases. Channel 2's Steve McDonald is at Merrill Field tonight with the latest. Steve.
Hey, Maria, the airport manager here at Merrill Field is giving few details on the new security measures, but he says there are changes. Meanwhile, pilots who fly in and out of Merrill, some of them are having a difficult time still getting a grip on what happened here earlier this month. For the past 50 years, Harry Keeling has been a pilot.
I love flying. I've never flown an airplane I didn't enjoy flying.
And including his pride and joy, the Cessna 185, Keeling has flown a lot of airplanes.
Between military airplanes and civilian airplanes, I've flown 72 different kinds.
His love of aviation is why Keeling and others are having such a difficult time coming to grips with what happened here on June 2nd.
It's absolutely sickening.
In the early morning hours of that day, someone slashed the tires on 87 airplanes. The act of vandalism caused upwards of $200,000 in damage.
When I drove by and saw rows and rows of airplanes with their tires slashed, I couldn't believe it. I mean, there is absolutely no sense, no rhyme or reason why anybody would do that.
It's the kind of crime that hit pilots hard. A smaller tire like this one can cost well over $1,000 to replace, while a larger Tundra tire costs.
Yeah, Mike, the count is now at 13 different food recalls affecting Alaska in just the past 23 days. But the problem isn't anything our farmers and factories are doing, but rather experts say it's a symptom of our reliance on food from the lower 48. Manager with the Alaska Food Safety and Sanitation Program says because 95% of our food comes from outside of the state, Alaska is typically hit with a wide variety of food recalls affecting the large processing plants outside of Alaska. This June, the possible contaminations are a combination of 3 issues, including spoiled batches of protein drinks, flour contaminated with peanut products, and dozens of snack bars and frozen vegetables being thrown out because of fears of potential listeria contamination.
Off your shelves.
Now, to check if you purchased any of the contaminated products, head to our website, ktuu.com, where we've published a full list of all the foods that have been recalled this month so far. Mike, Maria?
Well, Travis, nationwide, there's been about 8 illnesses and 2 deaths connected to listeria contamination recalls. Has anyone actually here in Alaska gotten sick from this?
Well, so far there's been no recently reported cases of listeria in Alaska. Officials say it's actually a fairly uncommon illness in our state, but there are records of recently recalled foods being shipped up to Alaska grocery stores, so make sure you check out that list on our website.
All right, thanks, Travis. And from food safety to security on the streets, this weekend is the annual Pride Fest Equality Parade, and there will be more police officers as they anticipate an even larger turnout after the recent shooting at an Orlando gay nightclub.
I think it's going to make this event even bigger thing because we're like, you know what, you can't make us scared, you can't make us afraid to be who we are and what we are, and we're going to come together and we're going to show up. That's the best thing we can do.
Captain Ken McCoy with APD Patrol Division says police don't anticipate problems, but wanted more staff because the event will likely have an increased interest from the public this year. The parade starts at 11 a.m. Saturday on 9th Avenue and F Street. Pride Fest organizers expect more than 500 people will participate in the celebration of Alaska's LGBT movement.
The nation's highest court has decided arguably 2 of the most controversial cases this term. As our Alex Miller reports from Washington, D.C. tonight, one of the rulings puts a pause on arguments within the halls of Congress.
The Supreme Court decided two major rulings Thursday morning: affirmative action and immigration. It's one of the most partisan issues in politics, immigration. And today, a major blow to the president and his plan to prevent 4 million undocumented immigrants from being deported.
It takes us further from the country that we aspire
to use race as a factor in the admissions process. The Supreme Court still has a handful of decisions to make before they break for summer recess at the end of the month. Reporting at the Supreme Court, Alex Miller, Channel 2 News.
Now, Channel 2 weather with meteorologist Jackie Purcell.
Good evening, everyone. A beautiful shot of an eagle in flight near the mouth of the Kenai River near Cook Inlet. And yes, thanks, Nick Lamb, for sending us that beautiful shot. We've also featured it on our Channel 2 Weather Team Facebook page. Well, let's take a look at the big picture in our time lapse over the last couple of hours. Yes, we have seen rain showers move across not only Eagle River, but the Anchorage area, and that's going to continue here into the evening hours. Our temperatures are down a bit as well, especially in those higher elevations. 58 degrees from Hillside. We have 54 degrees from Glen Alps. The south end of town reporting temperatures at 66 degrees, and Eagle River down at 63, 61 from Bird Point. Well, it is now low pressure that is gaining control. We had that ridge of high pressure still affecting sections of the eastern interior down through the Panhandle, but it is shifting east. This is coming in right behind it, so low pressure will be in control for probably the next 5 to 7 days. We'll even see a secondary system slip south of that and then take up a position in the Gulf of Alaska. So it will spin, and we'll continue to see some clouds and showers all the way into the weekend, out of them, and most of next week. Those showers are the upper 60s, but the 60s will be the trend here all the way into the weekend and out of it, as well as next week. So mostly cloudy skies and a chance of showers. I could do the weather with someone, you know, at 10 o'clock.
By the way, I just happened to notice that somebody had a shout out to Shia LaBeouf.
I said, come on, do the weather with me here.
Well, that's part of his reality show, right? I mean, it's basically...
Yeah, it's hashtag take me anywhere. So whoever's with him should take him here, and he can do the weather with him.
If you see him, let him know that, Jackie, that would be very fun.
He's got star power, you got star power.
What a combination.
What a combination.
Yeah, it could only be good.
And Cass would be right behind the camera just watching.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Thanks.
Kevin, what's going on?
Well, basketball season just ended, but already some new business, and that includes right here in Alaska. The UAA men unveiled the schedule for next year. When's UAF coming to town? Find out next.
And now from Alaska's sports leader, here's Kevin Wells.
UAA's men bring back third-team All-American Suki Wiggs, 5 of their top 7 other scorers, and add 6'10" transfer Connor Devine. That's to get you fired up about next season. And now you have a schedule to look forward to as well. UAA tips off the 2016-17 campaign Friday, November 4th, at home versus Portland Bible. The pre-conference portion of the season also includes the minors. Matsu had each of the last 2 nights off. Between midnight baseball, midnight running, and the world's longest riverboat race, we've certainly gotten our fill from the state's interior in the last 5 days. So why not a fishing report as well? Corey Bustamante, happy to oblige.
It's a place where the sun never sets and the bite never stops. We're out at Delta Clearwater celebrating summer solstice with a full day of grayling fishing.
You see the fish right there?
The star of our cast today is Reinhard Newhauser of AK River Tours.
Usually the fishing starts getting good around noon when the sun starts rising, and depending on how much clouds there are and if it's windy or not, but the surface activity can be really strong.
What's the biggest fish you've pulled out of here?
We did a 21 inch. Wow. Yeah, it's big for a grayling. Like, I think the state record is about 24, so, and there's probably bigger fish than that in there.
Riney sets me up with a few different flies to start, but once we toss out a parachute dry fly,
strong fish.
Lights out. Here it comes. Nice. Oh my gosh, I did not think I was gonna catch the first one on a dry fly.
No, he's 18 inch.
My first grayling was a new personal best, but that only lasted all of 2 minutes. Oh my God, he's huge!
He's bigger.
You see that?
Yeah, this is a monster.
They came to play. Yes! Whoa!
Perfect. Great.
This
Isn't
is
that
my
beautiful?
fish.
west.
This year's riders started in Sacramento and are expected to finish in St. Joseph, Missouri. this Saturday.
And the Pony Express only lasted for 19 months. It seems like such a big part of the Old West. Who knew? All right, we'll gallop back at 10 o'clock. See you then.